Welcome to the show. It's Matt Davidson, Top Texas Prospect Show. We are here rocking and rolling, and we have some special guests. But let's go ahead and get you guys over to our host. We have Mark Henry.
What's going on, people? Mark Henry with the old coach. Texas Prospects. Let's get it.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And then we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, my brother, one of my best friends, man, somebody I consider a best friend. He's a great guy. The movie maker, Ibifiri.
Hello, how are you doing?
Very nice, man. We're doing great. We have Neal Koskay, kicker, South Lake
Great to be on
Carolina.
the show.
That's right. That's right. We have Quintan Jackson, running back, leading rusher in Tarrant County right now over at Benbrook High School.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? All right. Mark Henry, take it away with Neal.
Neal, thanks for having you on tonight, man. Congratulations on a very good start over at South Lake. And the thing that I like to ask kickers is, what do you do to prepare yourself to get in that zone to kick? Because a lot of times the game comes down to that final kick, and there's a lot of pressure. So take me through your mindset when you have a big kick coming up.
Right, so for me, the main thing is just to trust my coaching and all the preparation that I've been put through. It's one kick out of thousands that you've done leading up to it. So you just have to trust your own preparation and your coaching that you've had and through the years, how you've kicked forever, and just do the same kick that you've always done.
Now, Neal, talk about some of your coaching that you've had. I've seen that you've gone to a couple of big-time camps, one in California, the Chris Saylor camp. Talk about some of that preparation as well, outside of just what you do for your school.
Right, so I've been blessed actually to have a lot of great kicking coaches and mentors. My first kicking coach, who I still kick with to this day, his name's Scott Blanton. He kicked in the NFL for 4 years with the Redskins and the Atlanta Falcons as well. I've trained with Morgan Lineberry. He's the head national kicking instructor for Coles Kicking. So I've been working with those guys for quite some time now. Jake Oldroyd, who was a kicker at South Lake Carroll, who played for BYU for a season, and he's now on his mission trip. I was blessed to be able to work with him when he was still here in South Lake and kick with him. He taught me a lot about kicking, and especially just what it takes to be a South Lake Carroll kicker. And then you mentioned some of the camps I've been going to. Like this summer, I went to a camp called Top 12. So many people have heard about the Elite 11 camp, right? It's for quarterbacks. So the Top 12 camp is much like that, except it's for kickers. So, you do the same thing. It's 45 of the best kickers and punters in the country, and they all go to California. And at the end of each day, the rankings are adjusted. And basically, if you're in the top 12, then it's like the Elite 11. You're in the top 12 kickers in the country. I actually ended up ranked number 13 at the very end of the camp, so I was actually one off the list from making it out of 45. But it was a great experience, and one I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
Well, Neal, I appreciate you giving us a little time. I'll pass it over to IB.
What's up, Neal?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been a while since we've last talked.
Right, yes, sir.
Yeah, Friday, Well, my question to you is, with you sharing the kicking duties with Maddie Martin this season, she's doing the extra points, correct?
Right, so she took the extra points last game.
Yeah, so how does that change the way you kick? Are extra points kind of like treated like, practice where you can, get your form down as you make your way through the game, or how does it work?
Right. So for me, kind of back to what I said earlier, for me, extra points and field goals, it's, the same kick every time, same motion. Maddie, obviously, she's a girl kicker. She just joined in this year from soccer. They've been, she's worked really hard, and so they're trying to find ways to get her incorporated and in the mix. This week, the plan right now is I'll be taking all the real field goals. Joe McFadden, who's a sophomore and is ranked number 3 in his class, actually, for kicking, will be doing the extra points. And then I'll be doing So.
Okay, that's neat.
Right. So we actually, it's pretty interesting, because we do have, with me and Joe, two of the top ranked kickers in the country. And then, Maddie, she can go out and be consistent enough to make extra points every time. So it's really a unique combination. Pretty much all three of us can do anything. So our coaches are just trying to find ways for all of us, to get exposure and get in the mix.
Yeah, that must be tough. Well, it sounds like some kind of kicker you, or do they make the kickers, or do kickers just happen to gravitate towards the school, do you think?
So I think what you're asking, I think most of the kickers that have come through South Lake Carroll actually have grown up in the program for most of their lives, or if not their whole lives. But you're right, it is kind of like a, kicker you, if you will say, because lots of great kickers. Cade Foster went to Alabama. Jake Oldroyd went and played at BYU. Drew Brown and his older brother Chris Brown both went and played at Nebraska. And just lots of other great kickers.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, Matt.
Hey, what's up, Neal? So we got the chance to talk with you after all the rain delays on Friday night. After all the delay, we finally started like at 9:15, I believe, and it was well worth the wait. Golly, with all those touchbacks you did. You played against Colleyville Heritage. They're a pretty good 5A team, but you guys won 42-17. I interviewed you, and that interview is going to come out pretty soon with Ibifiri. It's funny that we're both having you on here again, but just kind of run me through what it was like this past week in preparation for Friday night's game, and does Coach put you in game situations during practice how do you like playing for Coach Dodge?
Oh, it's great playing for Coach Dodge. It's a really great environment, extremely positive. Everything's set up and designed and planned out very well and executed very well. But yes, you're talking about the in practices and the preparation, putting us in game situations. At the beginning of each practice, we do special teams for about 15 minutes. So during that, I'll be in the middle kicking field goals. Joe will be on one of the sidelines doing punts to the returners, and Maddie will be doing 3-step kickoffs to returners on the other sideline. And then at the end of practice, we'll actually everybody will go on the sideline, the whole team, and Coach Dodge will call out something like either kickoff, field goal, or punt. Sometimes there's a clock, counting down, so sometimes it'll start at like maybe 10 seconds. Sometimes we'll have a full 25 seconds to get on and get it off. We'll get back and lined up and in our stance, and he'll say pause, and we have to wait as if another team's icing us. And if we make it, or if we miss, then everybody's got to run a gasser. So yes, to answer your question, yeah, it's really good. We get a lot of game-like situations in practice.
Yeah, you bet, man. That sounds fun. It sounds intense and no pressure, right?
No, not at all. Just doing what I love.
Well, I'm glad you are. I just want to talk about your history and like where you grew up. If you grew up in South Lake, kind of talk about what it was like going through middle school in the South Lake program, and what it was like, growing up in elementary and stuff, and probably seeing, your head coach win all those state titles.
Right. So I have lived in South Lake my whole life, and South Lake's a very special place. Growing up here, young boys don't grow up watching the Cowboys or Texas A&M or University of Texas. They grow up watching the Dragons, and it's that culture. It's just so special, and there's really nothing else like it anywhere in the state or the country, in my opinion. And then I mentioned Cade Foster earlier, who went on to kick at Alabama. He was actually the reason why I started kicking in the first place, because I remember I think I was around 7 years old, and there was a playoff game at Texas Stadium, I can still remember, and he was kicking the ball through the uprights on every single kickoff. And when he would do that, the whole crowd would, ooh and ah at the ball and how he kicked. And so something in my mind clicked, and I was like, I need to be doing what that guy's doing, And so that's kind of how it all started kicking. And then when I was 12, I got my first kicking coach, and so it's just ever since then that's how it's rolled. I used to play little bit of linebacker as well through middle school and all the way up to my junior year, but just decided to specialize in kicking. You know, it was my first love, and that's just what I really wanted to do and focus my efforts and time on.
That's really awesome, Neal. I'm going to end with this question with you right here, and then I'll give you a chance to do some shout outs and stuff for people that you go to school with, or maybe your family or whoever that you work with. But you're not committed anywhere, but do you want to talk about schools that have your interest that you're considering right now, or do you just want to talk about some of the offers that you have so people can know? Because I know how special you are, and I would like for everybody else to realize how special that you are.
Right. So some of the schools that I'm really in close contact with a lot are Oklahoma State, University of Houston, University of Arkansas, Houston Baptist. You know, there's a few more, but right now those are the ones that I'm really talking to a lot. It's still wide open. I'm open to any new schools that want to jump on board and start recruiting me. As far as a commitment goes, it probably won't be until at least December. I just really want to take time to see how everything plays out and then make a really great, educated, and God-led decision.
Well, you bet. Neal, this is the opportunity we give all of our guests at the end of our interview with them. Tell people your Twitter. Tell people what you do for fun, what your hobby is, and then give your shout-out to whoever you want to give a shout-out to. It can be 5 or 10 people. We don't care. You can shout out your whole family.
Thank you. So my Twitter name is @Neal Koskay. I'm sure how you spell it will be in the description for this podcast. No caps, no spaces. I'd like to shout out my parents. They've been great all through this journey of playing football and kicking. They've invested a lot of time and energy and support into my kicking and just my high school football career in general. I'd like to thank, everybody who's coached me, Coach Blanton, Coach Lineberry, Jake for his, mentoring that he's provided, and Joe McFadden as well. He's a great young kicking talent, hard worker, ranked number 3 in his class as a sophomore. He'll end up being better than me, and I hope he does. It'd be an honor if, he went and was more successful than I am. I hope for the best for him. And, yeah, that's it.
Neal, you might be one of the most well-spoken young men I've ever came into encounter with in my entire life. And you might have a future in the media.
Well, thank you. We'll see how that plays out.
All right. Well, I'm going to give my final thoughts to Mark Henry, and then we'll let Ibifiri give his final thoughts with you real quick before we wrap it up. Mark Henry, go ahead. Final thoughts with Neal.
Hey, Neal, I just want to say good luck, man. Stay healthy. And it looks like team-wise, you guys will be set up to make a deep run this year. And so we'll be watching from afar.
Thank you. It's very exciting this season. If you all can come out for another Dragon game at some point, that'd be great. It's a great atmosphere.
Ibifiri, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Just keep working. Make sure to get more distance on your kickoff. But, I got your video coming soon enough. I know you've been asking for that, so.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Oh yeah, Neal, and don't worry. Basically, the interview that I did with you, that will be coming out pretty soon too. Produced and shot by Ibifiri as well. So I just want to tell you, Neal, thanks for coming on. This is not the last time we're going to talk with you. We're going to probably check in with you halfway through district and see how everything's going with you. And if you want to stay and listen to the rest of the show, you're more than welcome. And we just want to thank you for having yourself some time to come on.
Thank you so much. It was great being on the show. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Neal Koskay, all-star kicker for South Lake Carroll. And now we are going to bring in stud running back, Quintan Jackson from Benbrook High School.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up? Mark Henry, take it away.
Quintan, what's going on, man? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, look, Quintan, what we do at this show is we want to shine a light on people or kids. The top Texas prospects is to find prospects that are not being seen, and I think you're one of the most underrated seniors definitely in Tarrant County, if not the DFW, because I've been following you for a couple of years, and this year you started off to a hot start. Your team is 2-0 for the first time. Talk about your hot start Benbrook is having this year and your first 2 weeks.
Man, starts off in practice, man. Coach put it in our head every week, man. That 0-10 season at 2-8, and that's something we don't want. We graduated our first senior class last year, so we pretty much been. This is going to be our best class. We pretty much been the leaders since we was sophomores. So coach just preached to us, man, work hard. We don't want to go through that phase again. So every day in practice, we work hard. And it's been paying off these last 2 weeks so far. So, hopefully we can keep it rolling.
Now, last week you busted out with a 300-yard game, 4 touchdowns. The first week you had multiple touchdowns and over 200 yards. Talk about your offensive line, because sometimes the big fellas don't get enough love. Talk about some of those guys in front of you.
Yeah, man. I salute my O-line, man. They done improved a whole lot. Man. They've been giving me good looks, good holes to run through these last 2 weeks, man. It's been crazy, man. And I thank them every day. They've been doing. They work hard in practice. They do something wrong, coach, getting on their tail, and it's paying off, man. They're doing pretty good, man.
All right, and I'll end this one question. This will be my last one, and I'll pass it over to Ibifiri. Quintan, talk about yourself a little bit here, because I think that you kind of remind me of Darren Sproles. You don't come off the field. You can catch the ball out of the backfield. Tell some of these college coaches what you bring to a team, because here we want to give you that exposure. And also, Quintan is a basketball player, is a point guard. Talk about how leading the team from the point guard position transfers or translates over to the football field.
Man. Well, it's let's see how I can say this, man. Being a point guard transfers to the field, it's kind of the similar things, man. Like being a point guard, you gotta have that vision on the court, just like you gotta have that vision on the field. You can't just be running out there just to be running. You gotta look from all angles, and that's how that transfers, man. And a little bit about myself, man. What I bring to the table, man, I bring a little bit of energy. I like to be a little fired up, man. I just go out there and play. It's what I love to do, man. I just run the ball, hit the holes, make something happen, man. That's just what I do. I'm looking forward to go to a big university or whenever the time comes, and I'm just looking forward to go play at the next level.
Ibifiri.
Hey, Quintan. How's it going?
It's going good.
All right. Well, you were just talking about university. Well, are there currently any schools reaching out to you, and give us, a few dream schools that you wish to get an offer from in the future?
Well, I've got a couple of looks. I've got a lot of letters from Texas State. I got some from University of Houston, Air Force Academy, and I have interest from North Texas, stuff like that. But man, I want to go to my favorite college. I want to go to is TCU. So man, I went to their camp a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever. I did a little something. Never heard nothing from them since then. But I'm really trying, man. I wouldn't mind going to LSU, Alabama, stuff like that. But I'm just trying. I'm trying to get out there and show them what I can do. Just give me a chance.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the performance you're putting out on the field already should they're probably turning some heads so far this year. Are there any running backs that you looked up to, or past and present, that you try to emulate your game to, or?
My favorite running back of all time is Barry Sanders. And I feel like we got some similarities, man. He ran pretty good from from my side. I used to watch his highlights all the time. But right now, today's game, I like even though he ain't on the best team right now, I like the way LaShawn McCoy runs, and I see myself in him too. And I also, from time I look, my cousin Jonathan Gray, he used to play for Alito. I look up from time to time his stats, man. I know his stats is crazy. I look, man, motivates me sometimes too. Look at his senior stats, all that. I just at least try to come close to it. And his stats was crazy. But
you're well on your way. On your way. Matt?
Quintan, talk about what made you want to get into football at what age, and talk about where you went to middle school at, and talk about how your new school, how it's opened, and how everything has been for you guys over at Benbrook, and talk about how you had to start off at JV as a freshman, I believe. Go ahead and talk about that stuff.
Oh, well, I first started playing football. I was, I believe I was 5 years old. I didn't want to play football. I wanted to play basketball, actually, but my parents made me play football. And I remember, I think I started out on the line. They just put me in. I started out on the line, but mid-season they actually put me in running back. And my very first time carrying the ball, I ran backwards, got a safety. I actually ran backwards, but then later on that year, I got the hang of it, and I scored my first 2 touchdowns that year. And ever since then, it's been rolling. And I've been loving it ever since then. I'm kind of glad they made me play it. And I also went to middle school at Benbrook. It was Benbrook Middle School. Before it was a high school, it was Benbrook Middle School. And I played football there for 7th and 8th grade. Did pretty good. And I got to 9th grade. We got to the high school, and we didn't have a varsity, as I said, and so we had to. We really didn't have a schedule, so coaches had to make calls to teams that had extra weeks so we can play them. So we were playing just different teams, and it was kind of crazy because we were struggling to find games every week, who to play, and we finally got a chance that next season to actually become 4A and play a varsity football. And we kind of got beat up a little bit, but it was our first year. We didn't have a group of seniors. We didn't have none of that. We had juniors stuff, so we took a beating. And just last year, it wasn't that much of a successful season either. We went 2-8. We did a little bit better though, but it wasn't enough. But this year, I feel like this is the year, man. I feel like this is the best year. We make playoffs, postseason. 2-0 so far, so we're just trying to keep it rolling, man. So.
Yeah, Quintan, talk about the struggle of going through all of that and not knowing if you were going to get the attention that you might want, not knowing if you guys were going to be able to play against varsity teams. And did you ever have any thoughts with your parents hey, I need to probably transfer to another school where I can actually get some playing time against big-time schools? Or were you just hey, we're going to stick it out and see what happens?
Oh, man, the struggles, it was real, man. We had kids not wanting to play no more, and all of that, man. The people who stayed was the people who, had love for the game, obviously. But, there was some conversations about me moving schools, trying to go to a better school or whatever, and there was a lot going on because, like I said, I wanted to play at the next level, and I didn't know if that was really this was really the school to, we wasn't winning any games. I wasn't getting any looks. But we had talks with the coaches and stuff, and we would say we might as well stay. It's no use to move in my senior year, so we was going to ride it out, see how the senior year goes, try to bring something to the table. I know Benbrook is a new school, and not too many people know about it. We don't get pretty much looked at. I'm trying to put Benbrook on the map for here and on out. Just trying to make it successful.
Well, with that being said, Quintan, you lead me right into the end. It's been a great show. I just want to thank Neal and thank you for coming on. And here's your chance to give a shout-out to anybody at your school, any of your coaches that have stuck with you since day one, your family, your Twitter and if you want to put your Instagram, you're more than welcome. But here's your chance. Go ahead, Quintan.
Oh man, first off, I want to thank God, man. Gotta thank Him, man. It's first, man. And I want to thank my parents, my mom and dad. They've never missed a game. They've always been in every single game. They've never missed a game. And I also want to thank all my old linemen, all my teammates, all of them, coaches. Shout out to John Hinston, man. He's one of the hardest working linemen I've been with since I've been at Benbrook, man. I want to shout out to him. I want to shout out to my guy Kyle Lewis. He's also an honorable mention All-State linebacker. He's doing his thing out there. And yeah, man, y'all can follow me on Twitter at your boy Lil Q, YUHH_BOII_LIL_Q, or you can just type in my name, Quintan Jackson, and bring it up. And my Instagram is at LILQLJ. It's my initials.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Mark, you got final thoughts for Quintan?
Hey, Quintan, I'm glad you took a little time. You already have my stamp of approval. I've been watching you, since you were in Little League, and I've seen you play basketball. Quintan, if you guys don't know much about him, put up some of his huddle, pull up some of his tape. He's very explosive. Like I said, he's versatile, catches it out of the backfield also, and he can take it the distance. He's a Swiss Army knife out of the backfield. We need to show this guy some love. Right now, he's in the top 2 rushers in Tarrant County and one of the top rushers in Fort Worth ISD. And we only played 2 games. So this guy's on the map. I think he's on his way. Appreciate you joining us, Q, and stay healthy. And I will be out there to see you here in the next couple of weeks.
All right, man. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. It was an honor to be on here.
Yeah, you bet.
All right.
Ibifiri, final thoughts.
Well, Quintan, good luck for the rest of the season. If you make it far enough, I'll definitely be at one of your games. But before then, I don't know about it, but we'll see. We'll see. I just want to say good luck.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, Quintan, we have a good friend named Brian Gossett that works for the Star Telegram, and we're gonna tell Brian about you. Brian wasn't able to be on the show tonight because he's busy, but he normally checks in with us on these podcast shows, and he comes on and interviews people with us. So we're going to tell Brian about you. I think he probably already knows about you, but we're going to see what we can do to help you out and see if we can't get you some more looks. And if you can get your school to reach out to Ibifiri, maybe you can have me and Ibifiri to come to one of your games over at Benbrook. I know you're 4A, but if you get enough votes on one of his polls and you get it, you might be able to have us come out for one of your games.
Yeah, man, for sure. I'm gonna try to get him out there at one of these games, especially the Western Hills game. That's like a rivalry. So we'll see. I'll try to tell my coaches to blow him up and get him out there. That'd be nice, man.
Yeah, you bet. So we just want to tell you thank you, Quintan. And if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter or via text message. We're here for you. We got your back. And we just want to tell you thank you for giving us your time and coming on the show.
No problem.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. That's Quintan Jackson. We want to thank Quintan Jackson for coming on. And we would like to give a special shout-out to Grumpy the Barber, Grumpy Cuts. Get your hair cut by one of the best barbers in the DFW Metroplex, Grumpy the Barber. You can reach him at 682-331-2244. Once again, 682-331-2244. Book the best barber in the DFW. He cuts my hair. He cuts everybody's hair that looks good. You know him. You love him. That's Grumpy the Barber. All right. So, Mark Henry, real quick, we're going to end. What games will you be at this week?
This Friday, we're going to Cedar Hill. LL should like this. It'll be 2 of the best private schools, one from Fort Worth in All Saints, and Trinity Christian in Cedar Hill. Trinity Christian is 2-0, and All Saints is coming off a loss last week. They're 1-1. But Trinity Christian is home to Coach Deion Sanders and Shador Sanders and Shiloh Sanders and my guy Quaylen Jones from that was at Grand Prairie before, but now he's committed to Baylor. So it should be some big-time talent on this field. I'm super excited about it. Just follow me at On the Mark Sports and at the Old Coach for highlights and interviews and stuff this weekend.
Ibifiri, I'm normally with you, but this week I had a death in my family, so I'm taking a week off. Ibifiri, tell them what games you're going to be at.
Well, starting on Thursday, I'll be attending the Highland Park and Lone Star game, which I believe is the top two teams in 5A. So that should be a pretty good matchup, obviously. The next day, I'm going to Forney to check out the Unity Bowl. They somehow were able to beat out Allen and Coppell. I think there was some tampering going on, but hey, you win, you win. And then on Saturday, I got DeSoto and Bishop done. I don't know if I'm actually going to that because I haven't got credentials yet, but that's where I'm planning to be. So that's pretty much my weekend.
Well, yeah, I saw your post on Twitter. You know, I feel like Twitter shut down a lot of people's accounts for having fake bot accounts. I know I lost like 50 followers like a month ago because I guess they were bots. I don't know, you know, how that works or whatever, but hey, I guess it is what it is. North Forney and Forney won. I just want to say shout out to Coach Randy Jackson over at North Forney. He always puts together a good program. He's been at a lot of good schools in the past. He's been at Grapevine. He's been at Plano East, and he's been over at
pretty much a miracle worker. He just shows up and wins start flowing.
Yeah, you're not lying. That's my guy. I've interviewed him a couple times, and he's got a book out as well. He's a great coach, and if I'm going to pick a game for him to win, I'd pick him to beat Forney. I'd pick him. I don't know how good his team is, but just the way he can coach is.
Well, Forney's 0-2 right now, and North Forney's 2-0. I think it's a foregone conclusion, really. But
yeah, I know you would normally probably be at the Coppell and Allen game, which is kind of crazy because, you know, Coppell and Allen, that would be a great game to watch.